thank you all for joining us today. My name is Christina Delgado, and I am the Southwest Regional Advocacy Associate for Community Justice Action Fund. I am also a member of the Texas Coalition to End Gun Violence. We have coalition partners who are present here standing in solidarity from Texas Gun Sense, Moms Demand Action, as well as Texas Impact. And we also have staff and lawmakers here from the House of Representatives as well as our senators. Today, as we embark on the first of two special sessions, we know the impact of not focusing on gun safety. This year, this session, our coalition alongside survivors from Santa Fe and Uvalde, we're here discussing and pushing, fighting for life-saving pieces of legislation that could protect our school children as well as our communities from the horrific effects of gun violence. Today we are honored and saddened to have a very special organization here who we as survivors and survivor families have grown very close to. Patricia and Manny Oliver started Change the Ref following the shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas, where their son, Joaquin Oliver, who was 17, was gunned down. They knew that change needed to be made. We in Santa Fe knew how important that was, although not important enough, because just 3 months later, we were the next school shooting. Today is a day that we are to recognize the important opportunity that we have before us, embarking on these special sessions, and during this interim, here in the state of Texas, as well as at the federal level, to start making the changes necessary to pass gun safety legislation that not only protects our community, but even as gun owners, still allows us law-abiding citizens to practice our Second Amendment. So today you're going to hear from Manny and Patricia, as well as survivor families from Santa Fe and Uvalde. Following this press conference, we are going to all go down to the Change the Ref advocacy bus that is allowing them to take this important life-saving message across this nation. So I want to introduce you guys to Manuel and Patricia Oliver.
Hi, thank you so much for having us here. I am sad that we need to do this, but well, this is our duty today. There's nothing that we can do to bring Joaquin's back, but at least we can do a lot to bring awareness on gun violence. Me, my husband, all the families that are behind me, they've been going through the pain that we are all going through. They're just being on his first year, others on the 5th year. We understand perfectly what's going on every day in terms of gun violence. We hope to see in the near future, next year, electoral year, that your attitude, your caution on electing the right person that is going to protect you and your family will be the first motive for you to understand and move forward. We can solve this, but we need us together in this fight. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Manuel Oliver, and I am Joaquin Oliver's dad. And thank you for the invitation. Being here, I understand that this is the building where political inaction happens in Texas. We have one like this one in Florida with a lot of political inaction in it. And the reason that I'm saying this is that after Parkland, we learned a lesson. And then Santa Fe came, and they learned the lesson. And then many other shootings happened. And a lot of people that are not here learned the lesson. But the political inaction was still there. And then Uvalde. So when I think that Joaquin was shot 4 times, he suffered, he died slowly, and that was not enough for the whole nation to learn the lesson, shame on us. The fact that we're here trying to convince others that this is not cool, talking to people that probably will end up on this side of the room at any moment, maybe one of you, because I've been on that side, so I know from both sides. You don't want to be here. But political inaction has been taking care of that. They judge the fact that we are protecting the legacy of our kids. And our politicians, they decided to save the gun industry and their ambition to sell more guns in Texas, in Florida, and all around the country. It's so ironic that Patricia, myself, and the whole team decided to start this tour. A tour that could only be possible in the United States of America. We go from city to the next city to see where innocent people were shot. Do the math. Think about it. It could be an eternal tour. Because since we left Parkland, many mass shootings have happened so far. A country that is not going through war decided to arm its citizens, promote the idea that with a weapon you will be able to protect yourself and your family, which is not true, because I was not able to protect my son, and if I had a gun with me, I wouldn't be able to protect him. So we have been told for decades that if we have a gun, we are patriotic. I don't think so. We have been seeing the gun industry and our political inaction mixing symbols like the American flag with guns and the NRA. So we decided to take back the American flag. Because guess what? I'm American now. I decided to move to this country because I thought, and they told me, that this promised land will give my son a better future. Look at his future now. I am the future of my son Joaquin, speaking to you here. Sad. Wrong decision. And we still see political inaction. That's the worst part. So we are going to continue our tour. We're going to visit 23 more places. The initial idea was to visit 23 places. Since we started, people have been asking us to go to their communities. We're not a rock band. We're not on campaign. Patricia is not looking for votes. No. We want the country to see what's going on. We are creating awareness. I'll leave it simple to the cameras. Anyone that is questioning, but what do you want? I want the whole country to be offended by what is happening here. A first world country that thinks that this is normal. And some gun owners that believe that this country is free because they own an AR-15 and it's in their living room. Totally wrong. We are patriotics. We are loyal to this country because we are protecting every single kid out there. We, the parents, the ones that carry the pain, the ones that cry every single day, every single minute we remember our kids. So we are not willing to take any more political inaction. You decided to mess with the wrong families, politicians. And guess what? We vote for you. You don't vote for us. Now you're going to have to deal with our absolute rejection of your work. And that goes to anyone in Texas, Florida, or wherever you are. You're not protecting anyone. And that's why we need to do this ourselves. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Cáceres. This is my husband, Javier. Our daughter is Jackie Cáceres. She was murdered on May 24th, 2022, when an 18-year-old with an AR-15 walked into her fourth grade classroom. In 2022, there was over 6,000 children killed or injured because of gun violence. I refuse to let my daughter just be another number. She's beautiful, smart, sassy, a perfectionist, and she always spoke her mind. Since the day her voice was silenced, our family promised to be her voice and to fight for what is right. Even though I'm exhausted and I feel let down over and over again by our city, our state, and our country, we will not stop. We will continue to show up in politicians' offices. We will continue to show up to press conferences, marches, and rallies, sharing her story until there is real change and until there is justice for Jackie, for her friends, and for her teachers. Hi, I'm Nikki Cross, mother of Uzziah Garcia, one of the victims of the Robb Elementary shooting. I didn't prepare a speech. I'm just here to remind our politicians that we're back, we're not done, we're not going away, and every session that you guys decide not to do anything to try and prevent gun violence, we add more families to the people behind me. Thank you.
I just want everybody to sit and imagine for a second. See, we imagine every damn day what Uzziah would want for his birthday this year, the birthday that he's never going to get. We imagine what craziness was going to come out of his mouth. We imagine what his everything. That's what we have to imagine. All of us, we have to imagine about what our kids would be doing because they can't anymore. But what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to imagine. Imagine what it is like to hear that news, to go to work one morning, not get to see your kids because you go to work 5:30 in the morning, just like you do every morning. Then to all of a sudden get a call that there is a shooter in your school. And so you rush back. I want you to imagine that. I want you to imagine when you hear the news that your son ain't coming home, ever. I want you to imagine that feeling in your stomach I want you to imagine the countless tears, the anger, the pain. I want you to imagine all of that. And even then, you still couldn't touch on what we go through because you're just imagining. And that's all I want y'all to do. I just want y'all to imagine what that is like. I don't want y'all to go through it. But unfortunately, because of this building, you're going to. Like he said, like Manuel said, some of y'all will be over here with us. And there are a lot of places that are here with us, even though they haven't made it quite to this building yet. But they will be here. You know, this building, it pisses me off so damn much because the people, the politicians in this building were more upset because I was louder than 85 decibels than the fact that our kids were murdered. Now that's some bullshit. Thank you.
I stand here in reverence with Manuel and Patricia Oliver's continued and admirable advocacy for common sense gun laws and honor what should have been their son Joaquin's 23rd birthday. I briefly met Patricia last year here in Austin, in a hotel where I needed to ease my anxiousness in the ladies' powder room. It was my first rally at the Capitol, and I was so scared of the opposition attending with their assault weapons. I was afraid for my family and the Uvalde families attending this event. We introduced each other, and she kindly said, "I'm sorry we couldn't prevent your sister's death." That really had an impact on me. I didn't understand why she took on this responsibility, but I certainly know it now. It's been a year and 46 days that my sister Irma was brutally murdered in her classroom at Robb Elementary School, along with her co-teacher Eva Mireles, and 19 sweet fourth grade innocent children. 11 students in my sister's class miraculously survived, as well as 2 wounded teachers, Mr. Reyes and Ms. Davila. Many others at Robb Elementary continue to be traumatized by the May 24th massacre. However, nothing has changed. The tormenting mass shootings across Texas that have followed the Uvalde massacre rip my heart, my broken heart, into smaller pieces. I relive that agony every time I learn of a shooting. I think and feel the pain and fear they are feeling, the disbelief of never seeing or hearing their loved one's distinct voice again, or laughter. The excruciating loss that their family will endure, the brokenness and loneliness they will feel for the rest of their waking days, the healing that will never take place. I know now it too well. Unless you are a survivor of gun violence, you will never understand this drowning feeling of desperation. So here we are, still demanding for common sense gun laws to prevent your families from this lifelong pain. We don't want to take your precious guns away. We just want common sense gun laws that will stop this senseless killing. Texas legislators are back on a special session, and I pray that God will have mercy on them and touch their hearts. I hope they truly believe in God and his love for his people. It is my faith that has helped me endure this unimaginable pain. I truly believe that with God, all things are possible. And trusting God in the midst of grief is my refuge. Governor Abbott, his family, and these legislators think they have a right to enslave God's children and force trauma on us? They're so blinded by greed and self-entitlement that they have forgotten God's 10 commandments. Their laws have enabled every single senseless shooting. So I implore everyone to seek God and pray, because we're living in an evil time where our children are not as important as the protection of their guns. And that says a lot about our government and the people who vote for them. We need to unite and vote these people out for the safety and well-being of our families. Children are our future. It is our choices that are destroying humanity. We can't just leave this epidemic of gun violence on our youth. We have to protect and be proactive and demand laws to be enacted for the sake of human preservation. I will never stop advocating for my sister Irma and my brother-in-law Joe and all the families impacted by gun violence. For me as an elementary educator, my advocacy came at a steep financial cost this past year. This is not an easy thing to do, nor do I enjoy putting myself out in front of people. But I had to do this for my two wonderful sons, my family, my students, and for all Americans. I thank everyone from the bottom of my heart to those special people who are able to take time to organize, unite, and support families thrusted into this valley of tears. In about a month, I will stand in front of a sweet, innocent class of bright-eyed first graders, preparing to calmly present and model a delicate lesson on how to react to a hard lockdown. This lesson will need to be practiced in my classroom, in the library, in the gym, in the nurse's office, in the cafeteria, and the worst place for me, outside at recess, because we are all a clear target. Imagine how this will impact them, your children, as they will need to go through this drill all year long, including fire drills for the rest of their school years. It's frightening and unsettling. I can vividly remember seeing my sweet second graders last year tear up and shake when we'd have to practice. My administration was kind enough to inform me of the day and time of these lockdowns because of my trauma. I would always prepare my kids and relay the information to my team in order to ease their students' fears. Even with all this preparedness, my kids would still be shaken up. So brain breaks, hard time, and social emotional activities always followed these drills for their mental health and for mine. Let that sink in. Because on top of all this trauma, our children are expected to continue the day's lessons, keep up with a rigorous curriculum, and deal with any baggage that comes from home. That's a lot to ask of innocent children who want to learn and make friends, have fun, make long-lasting memories, and excel in an environment that is still not completely safe. We live in an unpredictable and dangerous world where we shouldn't be adding any more stress to their young lives. Our children shouldn't be thinking about gun violence, but this is now the norm if we don't stop this insanity. Blessed are those children who have loving parents. What is going to happen to the rest of the children who lack the love and guidance of their parents? Well, I'll tell you. They become hateful, lonely, and vengeful people without parental support or love, exactly like the Uvalde shooter that obliterated my sister Irma, Eva, and their students. These are the people we need to protect our students from by taking time out of our instructional day to present hard lockdown lessons. What a shameful thing to do. You need to understand that school hard lockdowns are one component to keeping students safe. Our school buildings need to withstand gunshots from all types of guns and rifles, since Governor Abbott wants everyone, 18-year-olds and up, to have the right to own a gun or assault weapon, which are the weapon of choice with unlimited ammunition when it comes to mass shootings. Our schools deserve and need to have at least one brave officer who has active shooting response training. The fences surrounding our schools need to be upgraded to prevent anyone climbing over it. Sounds like a prison, but that's what our governor has done to us. That's what we have to resort to feel safe. Uvalde schools now have all these precautions in place after it destroyed that community. So why not the rest of Texas schools? Is this the prerequisite? Does a mass school shooting have to happen in order to get the protection needed due to Governor Abbott's refusal of passing safe gun legislation? Something has to be done. You can't just ignore it because your day is coming. Bullets don't discriminate, and it can happen anywhere at any time. We can't wait until gun violence happens to these Republican extremists, because that's when they will probably start changing laws, when it happens to their families. Living in Texas and most of America is like being forced to play Russian roulette. We all just can't stay home. We need to work, be a productive citizen, and our children need to go to school. But there's always that chance that one of us, or many of us, aren't making it home at the end of the day. What a horrible and un-American way to live. Sounds and feels like a war zone, except we are Americans killing our own people. And our government leaders are allowing it, and most important, enabling it to happen daily. This is the American nightmare. And we, the people, need to stand firm and demand common sense gun laws, and demand the ban of all assault weapons and the manufacturing of ghost guns now. They have opened Pandora's box. Enough is enough. It's imperative that our leaders work to enact gun reform for the survival and peace of mind of all humanity. If not, they will continue to have blood in their hands, and one day come face to face with our Lord Jesus Christ. He took our sins and was crucified to save us from hell, promising us eternal peace and paradise with our loved ones. So prepare yourselves and your family if you don't repent by living a godly life. What a shame if you don't get that blessing. My sister Edom and Joe had a frame in their dining room that reads, "God is in control. Be obedient to God and leave it in His hands. God is in control. With God, all things are possible. Continue this advocacy for gun reform. Love one another and leave it in His hands." God bless y'all. Thank you.
My name's Rhonda Hart. I'm the mom of Kimberly Vaughn. She was one of the first kids to die in a school shooting in Texas. And standing up here in the middle of this congregation of parents, I feel like some kind of morbid, sick, rotten stuffing in the middle of like the world's worst sandwich, maybe like tuna fish that's gone bad. Because I'm the shooting after Parkland, but the first Texas school shooting. And so here I am in the middle. I've been trying to fight this fight for 5 years. And I had to look up this quote that sometimes I go to when I'm having a really bad day and I need some inspiration. And it's from William Shakespeare about sadness from Henry VIII. "My drops of tears I will turn into sparks of fire." And that is exactly what Texas gun violence families have done. We started the spark with Santa Fe and the first school shooting, and we were extinguished a little bit. And this session, we caught fire and we got our bill passed to see our evidence. And then we were able to breathe life into the families of Uvalde and help them and support them and push for them to raise the age. And whether they think they moved the needle or not, y'all did. Because for the first time in 5 years, lawmakers in Texas had to listen to survivors in Texas. And I can tell you that this little fire that we have going on right now, it's small and it's easy to be contained maybe in a fireplace. but we're going to have more. We're going to have more fire. We're going to burn this mother effer down because this Capitol building is only so big. The parking garage can only fit so many cars. There's only so many elevators and bathrooms in this building. They're going to run out of room for gun violence survivors, and I'm here for it, and I will support Uvalde and the next one and the next one after that. So help me.
So another one of our families, good friend of Rhonda and mine, from Santa Fe, was on her way and could not make it. She has ailing parents that she is the caretaker for, but I will read her words that she wanted to share with you all today. Rosie states, "What's happening now is not working. I'm a conservative Republican, I'm a gun owner, and my son Chris did more for his classmates in an active shooter while losing his life than what I've seen in the Capitol. What's going on right now is not working. School is starting. You all will be buying books, school clothes, backpacks, and are you ready to add a coffin? Because what's happening now is not working." That's what these families had to do. That's what she had to do. Her call to action is that you support these families in their call for change. We all may have different visions. We all may be on different paths. But the one thing that remains the same for all of us is change in order to protect your children, because nothing will bring Chris back. Nothing will bring these children back. But this is a moment for you to save your own. We are continuing to see the continued effects of our lack of passing life-saving legislation. Just over the course of the last month, we have seen mass shootings here in Texas, in Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, and just last night, in the last 48 hours, Amarillo. I want to thank everyone for coming here today to listen and to be present with these families in their time of grief that is now an eternity for them. I want to thank our lawmakers who have come to stand in solidarity and those that have fought tirelessly this past session and during the interim to keep this conversation alive. And I want to remind every single lawmaker, every single parent, and every single Texan of the words my 7th grade daughter, who was on lockdown on a neighboring campus at Santa Fe Junior High, said to me, as we watched the names of the children she knew, the names of children we love, being read, "Mom, it could have been me." And I want you to realize that without action, it could be yours. So this brings the close of our press conference. We do have a second part. We will all be going down to the Change the Ref advocacy bus that is taking this message across the nation, so that you guys can see what this work really means, and that this is not singular to one location, but the inaction in not just one state, but all states, is causing this group of survivors to grow at an infinite rate.